there's too many people that are isolated in trying to do good work for God. They're all trying to figure out how to market Catholicism in a fresh way that actually engages people.
So we tried it the first year, had tremendous success.
It's exciting. I'm having fun. I'm meeting a lot of really great people.
I have been to all of these shows over the last year, and by far this is my favorite.
I want to emphasize the importance of what you're doing as lay apostles in the CMN.
The Catholic Marketing Network has a service that the marketplace needs and the church needs.
There's the distribution of a lot of Catholic religious items, but most of the people you talk to, they say, we really come for the networking.
It's a great joy to be here. In fact, it was almost 10 years ago that I came to the Catholic Marketing Network for the first time. There was a friend and I putting out sacred music, and Ignatius Press picked it up and they showcased us, and before you know it, we had sold 20,000 copies to people like you. And that sprungboard a company that now has reach in about 8 different countries.
I found really good and very interesting because I like when people come from everywhere and we can learn a lot. We come to show something, but they show us too. So that's amazing.
This is always one of my favorite events.
I always love coming here and being here because it's such a synergy to be around like-minded people with the same ideals, the same love for the church. So it's beautiful.
I want to talk about our opponent. They're bigger, faster, stronger, more experienced, and on paper, they're just better, and they know it too. But I want to tell you something that they don't know. They don't know your heart.
This is Patchwork Heart Ministries' Young Catholics Respond, brought to you by Breadbox Media. Now, here's your host, Bill Snyder.
Thanks, Adam, and welcome to the program, everybody. I am Bill Snyder. This is Young Catholics Respond, and thank you so very much for tuning in and listening to us. Yes, after the 4 weeks off that we took, Young Catholics Respond is back, and the reason why we took those 4 weeks off was because I welcomed my first child, a son, into the world with my wife, and my son is now here. He's doing wonderfully. So I thank you for your patience and allowing us to take some time off to be a family and to get together. But Young Catholics Respond is back, folks, and I thank you so very much for tuning in and listening as always. I want to remind you that our show typically is available online on Thursdays, and so you can go to patchworkheart.org, and you'll be able to search the radio tab, and you will be able to get our show on demand there or anywhere podcasts are found. So if this is the first time you're listening, know that I think we have like over 160 some episodes of Young Catholics Respond now. So take a listen to some of the previous ones, but I don't want to spend too much time talking about ourselves because I have a wonderful friend on the other end of the line with me. She is my Sowing Hope co-host. She's Catholic author, speaker, mom, and just has a wonderful, wonderful faith journey. We've had her on the program before. Anne DeSantis, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Bill. Thanks so much for having me on Young Catholics Respond.
Of course. And, you have a brand new book out, which is one of the things that I want to talk to you about today. It's called Love and Care for the Marginalized, and it's put out by Caris Publishing. And so I am really excited to talk with you about this book because I know this topic is so very close to your heart. It has been for a long time, knowing that you're also what's your title at the St. Raymond
Director
there
of the
it is.
St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation.
There we go. The director of the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, which really does take care of marginalized, and that is the mission of the St. Raymond Nonnatus Foundation, with taking care of divorce as well, people who are suffering from divorce and adult children of divorce. So maybe if you just talk a little bit about how this book came to be, and how, and really what it is.
Well, Bill, thank you. I want to thank you also that you brought up the foundation, and I want to make a shout out to people listening that the website is nonotus.org, and our tagline is pastoral accompaniment for families in crisis. So please do get in touch. You can learn more about what I do, helping families who are going through rough times, and we had a lot of that last year. On that note, after we went through the pandemic of 2020 and even up and through this year, I started to think about that word marginalized. Who are the marginalized? And came up with the idea to write a book. It's basically 40 meditations on making outreach to those people who we all know, who basically they don't have the love and support that they deserve. And everyone deserves to be loved and supported. But this book is making outreach to them. And it's 40 meditations. So every day you get a quote, a reflection, an action, and a prayer. And they come from different places, popes, saints, religious leaders, movie quotes, and others on how God speaks to each of us on the importance of outreach to those who've been hurt, rejected, and marginalized. I just read that from the back of the book. But that's pretty much what the book is about and how I got inspired.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I'm glad that you took the time. I think it's a big hole in the literature out there in our Catholic Church to really focus in on this topic, right? To focus in on love and care for people on the fringes of our society. I don't think we hear that often enough. In Catholic media, in Catholic writing, I don't think we hear that enough. So it's great to see that you have stepped in and kind of filled that gap where we really need it in the church. And I would love it if you would share with us, a little bit about, you mentioned the structure of the book, but are there certain topics and things in the book that you really, really enjoy? And you want to really get across to listeners, and especially for young Catholics out there, are there things that they can do in a particular way to help bring about the kingdom of God to those who may feel on the fringes of society?
Well, thanks for asking. I would say absolutely yes. I also think the book is a great gift. It's a great gift not only for people who are devoted to their faith, but if you have friends that are not really practicing the Catholic faith. I purposely not only chose Catholic quotes, I decided to throw in some from religious leaders and non-Catholic people, and even a couple movie quotes and my own quotes too, because I wanted to do it as a way to make outreach so that it didn't come across as just this hardcore catechetical book. I wanted it to be something that was very human, that really talked a lot about how we can all make a difference for people in our daily lives. And I also made a note to really talk about what does it mean to be marginalized. Because we've been on both sides of those fences, most of us, haven't we? We've felt marginalized at some point in our lives, and then we've watched people be marginalized. And I talk a lot about the fact that those people are everywhere in our lives. They're people inside our homes. They are people that we go to school with. They are people that we see at church. They are people that we see on those Zoom calls sometimes, the quiet ones, don't say too much. They are extended family members that maybe people gossip about or don't really include very much in the family. So I really wanted to make it a point to talk about that so that people understand that, yes, we're talking about the homeless, we're talking about the rejected, we're talking about protection of the unborn, but we're also talking about people that we know and see every day. So that's really what the book is about.
Yeah, no, and you know what? That's such an important point that the marginalized are not, far away from us. We can see them in our very own lives. We don't just see them standing on a street corner, with a sign that says, I'm homeless. It's also those people who are in our workplaces, who are in our lives, who are in our families. It can be immediate families, not just extended families. There is real importance to reaching into that. And the other thing that I like that you mentioned in there about is the fact that you took a diversified approach with this, taking quotes from different religious leaders and secular leaders and movie quotes and things like that, because in order to reach out, we're not going to be reaching out to that same circle, right? And it's like the circle that you and I talk about a little bit about on Sowing Hope quite often is that okay, this little bubble of Christians that we go to coffee with after Mass, right? Like in order to break that, we have to go out into the world to talk to people that we might disagree with, we might not like.
Yes.
And so maybe just touch a little bit on that and how, especially young Catholics, because I think we tend to be tribal. Younger people are very into, especially even younger than myself. They're into, their team, their group, their posse, right? Like, and how do we break out of that, posse into the world to really effectively minister?
Well, I think the first thing that we need to do, if you're a younger person and you're listening to this, is we need to remember the outcome of what happens when we don't care about the people that are left out and marginalized. The suicide rates went up a lot this past year. There's a lot of people who have all kinds of psychological, mental, spiritual issues and problems, okay? When we don't make that outreach. Now, I'm not saying that the problems are going to go away, because they'll stay, right? I mean, we're on earth, there's still going to be sin. But we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of those negative things happening. We're going to hear about more people who are depressed and anxious and suicidal, right? So you can make a difference when you decide, you know what? I don't care if I'm popular. I don't care if I have a big group of 15 friends that we all hang out together. I don't care if I'm included to go to that party or not. I care more about that one person that's home tonight. I care more about that person who doesn't have the love and support they deserve. And like I said, I'm going to keep saying that, because that's who the marginalized are. Everyone deserves to have love and support. And some people don't. Let's face it. We can pray all we want, and we can tell people we'll pray for them, but somebody needs to act. Okay. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. Somebody needs to act. So if I had to say what this book is about, that's what it really is about.
Yeah. And moving people into action. And, as you mentioned in the structure of the book, that you have an action statement for every day, right? So there, is a suggested thing for you to do every day. And I think that is very powerful, especially for young people to take a look at and say, listen, I, as a child of God, I'm going to do my best to look at this and do this and implement this in my life. As you said, we can sit there and we can pray for people who are sitting home alone on a Saturday night, who are feeling marginalized and not with it, or not part of something, part of the church, part of God's life. Depressed, lonely, angry, all of those things. But if somebody doesn't reach out, if somebody doesn't go out and say, I am going to make a difference, then that person stays where they are. And as church, as the Catholic Church in particular, I think we have to do a much better job at doing exactly what you're suggesting that we do, which is reach out, reach into the hearts of those people who are feeling that way. And, the other thing too, and I think we can talk about this on the other side of the break, Ann, is that people don't always show us or tell us that they're marginalized, right? They don't walk around. I mean, some people do. As I mentioned, the homeless gentleman on the side of the road with a sign that says, I'm homeless and hungry and I'm willing to work and all of those things. Yes, there's some people that it's more visible, but there are so much invisibility when it comes to marginalization. There's people who are suffering mental health disorders and all different kinds of things that are never revealed out in public, because it's just not something that they want to do. And so how do we reach into that? How do we touch those people? I do have to take a short break, and I'll leave that as the cliffhanger, so you can stay tuned to Young Catholics Respond through this very short break. But when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Anne DeSantis in her latest book, which is Love and Care for the Marginalized. It's available through Charis Publishing. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages here on Young Catholics Respond. Over 2,000 years ago, two disillusioned disciples walked along a dusty road to Emmaus. They had just witnessed Jesus, their friend and leader, whom they hoped to be the Messiah, suffer a gruesome death by crucifixion. Doubt, fear, and uncertainty clouded their conversation as they journeyed home, questioning the future. Until something miraculous happened. The risen Jesus appeared and answered their questions. Today, many young Catholics step onto college campuses with numerous questions about their faith, yearning to know if the seed of faith given to them as a child is both true and practical. Using the miracle on the road to Emmaus as a model, young adult ministers conversed weekly for 3 months with college students about the most pressing questions they had about the Catholic faith. As they journeyed together virtually, something amazing happened. Doubts disappeared, fears faded, and Jesus revealed that He is still alive. Hearts Burning Within Us, the latest book from Patchwork Heart Ministry, scheduled to be released in the summer of 2021, is a result of that grace-infused conversation. To pre-order your copy and help spread the word about the book, visit patchworkheart.org. Patchwork Heart Ministry and Fiat Ministry Network present Hear Your Faith, a brand new audio subscription service that features a growing collection of uplifting Catholic audio choruses, talks, and other exclusive content to help you grow deeper in your faith and knowledge of Catholicism. Subscribe today at patreon.com/patchworkheartministry.
Patchwork Heart Ministry is committed to sowing hope into broken hearts by helping young people encounter the love of Jesus Christ and His Catholic Church through prayer, storytelling, and media initiatives. We invite you to prayerfully consider supporting this mission financially. Mail your tax-deductible donation to Patchwork Heart Ministry at P.O. Box 563, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, zip code 53147. Or visit patchworkheart.org to donate online. That's Patchwork Heart Ministry, P.O. Box 563, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin 53147, or online at patchworkheart.org.
The St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith offers prayerful accompaniment for those who are affected by divorce and separation. We offer free online support meetings for those affected by divorce and for adult children of divorce. You can learn more about us at nonatus.org. That's NONNATUS.org. Text or call 215-870-9913.
Our Blessed Mother wants only the best for her children and has given us a special place where she promises to help all those who appeal to her motherly love and protection. Telling Saint Juan Diego that here I will alleviate the sufferings of all those who love me and seek my protection. That holy place is now the site of the beautiful Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Mexico City. If you would like to learn more about how you can visit this special place of grace, please visit vivaguadalupe.org for more information. Our Lady may be calling you now.
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S. On my world, it means hope.
Welcome back to Young Catholics Respond. Once again, Bill Snyder.
Hey everybody, welcome back to this episode of Young Catholics Respond. I'm Bill Snyder, and I do want to encourage you to head over to our website, patchworkheart.org, to find out more about what we are doing. We've got some exciting things going on our website. We're going to be doing a bunch of new ministry activities here in the rest of 2021. I can't believe we're already in June of 2021 and looking into 2022. We've got some exciting things coming up. But I don't want to spend, again, too much time talking about those because you can visit our website and find more information about it. It's simply patchworkheart.org. And we're talking with our friend Anne DeSantis. Not only is she my co-host for the Sowing Hope podcast, but she is also the director of the St. Raymond Donatus Foundation, Catholic speaker and author, and she has a brand new book out called Love and Care for the Marginalized, and we were talking about the book in the first half of the program and really how it came to be, but also talking about, how some of the hidden marginalization, exists in our society, right? Like we can see the person standing that's homeless on the side of the road with a sign that says, "I'm homeless, I'm willing to work for food." Like we can see that. But there's many, many types of people who feel marginalized, alone, that will never tell you that they are marginalized or alone. And so, Anne, I'm wondering if you have any suggestions for those of us listening to this, to how do we become empathetic to that? How do we see that with the eyes of Christ to reach into those who are marginalized that maybe won't tell us outright that they're marginalized or that they're alone or that they're feeling bad or depressed or sad or lonely?
Thank you, Bill. I would start out by saying that in our society, when people think of what it means to be a leader, you think of that word alpha, and alpha is someone who's sort of that natural leader who likes to kind of come in and, basically move things around and has the ability to get things done, knows how to be a leader, and also usually has somewhat of a stronger personality. Okay. But if you want to be successful in what we're talking about here, I'm going to be really blunt with this. Basically, you can't be an alpha anymore. You have to be a servant. You have to, not saying that you can't be an alpha and a servant. You can, but you need to open up your ears. You need to be more of a listener than a talker. You need to be less bossy about things. You need to be less, it's my way or the highway. And you need to be the type of person who includes others. Okay. So it's not about you gathering your little clan of friends, either at church or school or, in your house or even in your extended family. A lot of times there's like a leader of the pack. And I hate to say it, but a lot of times those people who call themselves leaders, not always are they godly leaders, right? Sometimes they're kind of like drawing people into a bad direction. And that's sometimes what happens when you have that type of a leader, a type of person who's kind of overseeing everybody, right? Is that they always leave somebody out. Have you ever been in a meeting where everybody's talking, but there's that one person that's not so hardly saying anything? They want to say something, they want to share, but the leaders in that group won't allow them. And that happens all the time. I mean, it happens in work, it happens at church, it happens in your own house. It happens at parties. It happens in neighborhoods. I'm just saying, when you have a godly leaders know how to listen. They're not bossy, and they're not trying to gather their own little troops to do what they want other people to do. So if you don't want to be a marginalizer, okay, if you don't want to be a person who's marginalizing other people, then you need to learn to be a better listener. You need to learn active listening. And you need to stop making it about you and what you want. So if I had to say, that's really what it comes down to. Have you ever been on a Zoom call? I'm just giving an example where there's 10 people on the call. And there's usually one person, one or two people that basically they take over. I mean, I know I've been on those calls, but that quieter person does have an opinion. But sometimes they don't want to say anything because they're not the alpha, if that makes any sense. And I'm not saying there's anything completely wrong with being an alpha, but if you really want to be a person who knows how to avoid marginalizing other people, then you need to learn to be more empathetic, better listener. And it's not all about you and what you think is right. And that's really what my book is about too, Bill.
Yeah.
We're not always right about everything as Catholics or as Christians.
Yeah.
And if we don't follow, quite frankly, if we don't follow this commandment to care about others, and I have it open right here. My book is based on Matthew 25. And in Matthew 25, verse 33, he says he will place the sheep on his right and the goats on the left. Then the king will say to those on the right, come. You are blessed by my Father. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. Naked and you clothed me. Ill and you cared for me. In prison and you visited me. Now it goes on, and I just invite you to read it. But if you really want to be a person who doesn't marginalize other people, then consider being a little more quiet, a little more better of a listener, and a little more caring. Don't care about being popular. I talk about that a lot in the book. Caring about people who don't have the love and support they deserve. That's what it really means to be Catholic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's living the sacramental life, loving God first, loving your neighbor, caring about the sacraments of the church, but befriending the friendless. It's not about you gathering your troops, okay? It's about loving people and giving them the love they deserve. So thank you for this opportunity, Bill.
Oh, absolutely, Anne. And it really is an awesome book, folks. I have a copy, and it's just a great it's a great book. I encourage you to get this book because, as Anne said, this is going to open you up and it's going to give you those actions, those reflections, those quotes to open you up to listening and active listening and seeing with the eyes of God. You know, that I think that, you know, you just mentioned Matthew 25, Anne, and, you know, that's really seeing with the eyes of God, because what do the faithful sheep say? they say, when did we see you this way? When did we look? And when did we see you? And it's like, well, you know what? You didn't, but I saw it that way, right? This is the way I saw it. When you helped your neighbor, you helped me. And because when they look with human eyes, they don't see that. But this book will help you have the eyes of God to be able to see that when you are out there helping your neighbor, when you're out there helping those who are marginalized, those who are struggling in life, you are really building the body of Christ. You're helping Christ. You're alleviating the sufferings of the body of Christ. And so that's why this book is so important for young Catholics. And as Anne said, it includes all of those other things. It includes being pro-life. It includes all of the doctrines and dogmas and teachings of our faith that make us fully Catholic. But this book also expands that vision to allow us to see with the eyes of God. And so I really do encourage you to get it. I know, Anne, as we are kind of winding down this podcast, I want you to just talk with us a little bit where people can get this book and how they can get in touch with you as well should they want to learn more about you and your ministry.
Oh, Bill, thank you. Well, I can't do any of that without thanking you, because Bill was the one that introduced me to the publisher. And Bill and I also authored another book, which I want to mention before I talk about me and this book. It's called Hearts Burning Within Us. And it's a book specifically for Catholic college students and people in that age bracket with questions of faith, the questions that we all have about our faith. And the book's going to be coming out sometime this year in 2021, pretty soon, probably this summer. So keep an eye on the same website that my book is on. It's charispublishing.com. It's CHARIS Publishing. I'm sure Bill will put it in the notes. .com. You'll see my book there, Love and Care for the Marginalized. And then you'll also see the other book that's going to be coming out with myself, Bill, Maggie Riggins, and Jen Southerton, a book for college age. Now, I just want to mention also, me to talk about my ministry. I do have my own website too. It's called AnneDeSantis.com. And what I do, I'm a wife, a mother. I have 2 daughters in their 20s. And I was a homeschooling mother for years. And in addition, being the director of the foundation, I am an author. And I also do a little bit of 55 plus modeling and acting. It's an honor to be on Young Catholics Respond, because I'm basically not a young Catholic, but I do appreciate being here.
Oh no, it's wonderful, and this is not just for those young. And I'm getting older and older by the minute. I think I actually fall outside of. I'm close to falling outside of the young part of our church anyway, but it still is great to inspire those who are young and have the passion. So I appreciate it because you certainly have passion and real energy for helping those marginalized. So I thank you so much for coming on the program today and chatting with us. And know that you can go over to Anne's website, which is very simply DeSantis.com. We'll put the links in the show notes for you all so that you can check it out. And know that Young Catholics Respond will continue. And we thank you so much for listening and your listenership over the years. And Anne, thank you so much for today. It's been just a wonderful pleasure to have you on, and look forward to having you back on Young Catholics Respond. And folks, don't forget to listen to our other show called Sowing Hope. It's also available on YouTube and anywhere you can find podcasts. So check out Sowing Hope as well. It's always awesome every Tuesday and Thursday to be live with Anne on the radio. So thank you so much, Anne, for today and for joining me here on Young Catholics Respond.
God bless. Thanks, Bill. And everyone, see you soon.
Yes. All right. Well, folks, until next time, from all of us here at Patchwork Heart Ministry, I'm Bill Snyder. Keep beating to your Catholic heart and sowing hope into broken hearts.
You've been listening to Young Catholics Respond, a radio initiative of Patchwork Heart Ministry. To learn more about our ministry and program, visit us at patchworkheart.org. Or to get exclusive access and early ministry updates, become our patron on Patreon by searching for Patchwork Heart Ministry.
Over 2,000 years ago, two disillusioned disciples walked along a dusty road to Emmaus. They had just witnessed Jesus, their friend and leader, whom they hoped to be the Messiah, suffer a gruesome death by crucifixion. Doubt, fear, and uncertainty clouded their conversation as they journeyed home, questioning the future. Until something miraculous happened. The risen Jesus appeared and answered their questions. Today, many young Catholics step onto college campuses with numerous questions about their faith, yearning to know if the seed of faith given to them as a child is both true and practical. Using the miracle on the road to Emmaus as a model, young adult ministers conversed weekly for 3 months with college students about the most pressing questions they had about the Catholic faith. As they journeyed together virtually, something amazing happened. Doubts disappeared, fears faded, and Jesus revealed that He is still alive. Hearts Burning Within Us, the latest book from Patchwork Heart Ministry, scheduled to be released in the summer of 2021, is a result of that grace-infused conversation. To pre-order your copy and help spread the word about the book, visit patchworkheart.org.